This is a show about facing fear, unlocking courage, and taking action.
Courage isn't necessarily a daunting thing.
It's going to give you more purpose. It's going to give you more drive.
It feels like making a courageous decision is going to get you closer to who you aspire to be.
It's knowledge plus faith plus action equals courage.
They are doing everything they can to be a courageous brand. So they're not just saying, hey, we're different. They are also working with legislators to push the industry forward. They show on their website where they are in relation to those goals.
Oh boy, I love these podcasts because this is the Courage Brand Spotlight. And every once in a while, once a month, we try to actually take a break and step back and audit who's doing something pretty special right now. And I'm reminded of my week here where earlier this week I was in Wisconsin. I had to bring out the old puffy jacket and head out to Kohl's. And one of the things that my mentor always said to me is, I'll do it in the classic Ron Burger, New York accent. He always says, "Courage brands win." And he's right. You know, this is the Courage Brand Spotlight. And every brand on the planet is somewhere between a coward brand and a courage brand. You're even a coward brand, or you're a stasis brand, or you're an iterative brand, or maybe the money isn't there, but you're an aspirational brand and you're chopping away at it. And then if you're lucky, you're a courage brand. You're showing high levels of knowledge, high levels of faith, high levels of action, and you're breaking through. And so that Kohl's keynote that I actually ended with, courage brands win. It's that simple. It really is that simple. So I love these roundtables. We've had 3 of them, these Courage Brand Spotlight. I always try to bring in another guest, someone from the team, to talk about what they're seeing. And so I'm super excited to have Lisa Jacobs here, who runs our action team. What's up, Lisa?
Hello. It's a great day here in San Diego.
A way to start by rubbing it in to everybody else if they're in some cold climate.
Yeah,
way to make friends
definitely.
Straight out of the gate.
It's a choice.
It's all choice. This is true. So the last time we were here, the spotlight brands that we looked at Goldbelly, we looked at Trader Joe's, we looked at Scrub Daddy. And so I know you've got your brand ready. I've got my brand ready. I don't know your brand. You don't know my brand. So let's dive in. I'm going to give the floor to you. Here's what I'm thinking about. And also this is supposed to be a quick hit. We're on your commute, 20 minutes, 22 minutes. That's what we're looking for. So you get 5 minutes. I get 5 minutes. Okay, if you blend over a little bit, all good. But why don't you take it away? What was something you saw out in the world right now? You're like, you know what? Bravo. That is a courage brand right there. They're doing something right. You get to go first.
Perfect. Well, this brand has been near and dear to my heart for several years. And I chose it because trust is their differentiator, which when I was reviewing it and looking at different brands that I interact with on a daily basis, I was like, this one hits a lot of boxes for me. It has an amazing founder story, strong values, and they are truly driven by, we're going to do the right thing. So my brand is Ritual, and I don't know if you've heard of it.
No, tell me more.
Yeah, I'll try and keep it concise because this brand's been in my life since 2017, and I am a huge fan and follower. I had the pleasure of working with them at one point. So Ritual is a health and wellness company. They're a supplement company. Their founder, Kat, was 4 months pregnant when she founded the company. She was looking for a prenatal, reading all the labels, could not find anything out there that she trusted. In fact, she was finding ingredients in the prenatals that she was specifically told not to take during pregnancy. So her whole approach was, let's get funding and let's do this right. She hired scientists and went above and beyond because she wanted the ingredients to be the absolute best. She wanted not only the ingredients to be the best, but they had to be the ones that you actually needed. So she had to do the research behind it. She hired scientists and ended up launching with a multivitamin first. And from day one, like they have held up their pillars of making the ingredients traceable, lots of transparency, science-backed, and a huge emphasis on consumer education because the supplement industry is underregulated. So they are holding themselves to a higher standard and making it really clear to consumers, what are you getting, in what quantity, from where, all of which you can see on their website. They're doing third-party testing, clinical trials. They also have an entire initiative around sustainability. It's just they are doing everything they can to be a courageous brand. And on top of that, they're working to push the industry forward. So they're not just saying, hey, we're different and we're going to do this. They are also working with legislators to push the industry forward and change the standards so that people have clearer labels to read, the ingredients are transparent, etc. And I'll go 2 more things that I love about this company. They, in the spirit of transparency, they are so clear on what their goals are that they are going after. They show on their website where they are in relation to those goals. They produce a report every year that says, here's what we set out to do, here's what we actually accomplished, and how we're moving forward. And then the last piece is they just have amazing branding. It is a gorgeous product. It is a gorgeous website. And every time I go to it, it makes me happy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm loving this. So folks, if you actually go to ritual.com, so also, as a guy that likes a good name and a good URL, like I try not to do anything unless I can get the URL. Right. So like it starts there. It starts there. So, and then also I feel like you kind of buried the other lead, which is like Serena Williams is all over this website. Like, is Serena an investor? Is it borrowed equity? But I see Serena's very much involved here as well.
That I don't know. I don't know if she's an investor, but she's definitely a spokesperson for them.
I bet you she's got a little some little cut of the business. The thing that I love about this is like, you learn about a new brand that you never heard of before. That makes it's very meaningful to you, but might not be meaningful to me, obviously, right? But we confuse courage brands with like courageous marketing or courageous branding. To me, it's not that. It's like, this is why I left life as we once both lived it, where it was like, hey, we're the agency people at the very end of the conveyor belt, and can we tell the world a story about why you're sliced bread? And then it's like, then you never get to talk to the leaders or interview the culture, and you're like, well, so you want me to tell a story to the outside world that may or may not be true to the culture? Where everything I'm hearing here, it's like, yeah, the reason they're a courage brand is the founder realized there's like an actual error in the way we're putting stuff in our bodies.
Yeah.
And so now trust and transparency is leading the way. And you can't not feel that when you look at their product. It's a clear product. Like that's another way of saying transparency. So it's very cool to see this isn't just like about marketing. The courage brands start at the leader's lips and it goes all the way through the culture and then out to the real world here. And I'm sure that's probably why Serena was all about it too, right? Like, it's like, yeah, if I'm going to put something in my body, it better help me perform or be better. Nice little win. Yeah. Any idea on how they're doing? Like what's the number?
Oh, they're doing really well. I think the research I did before said they were 250 million for the year. I can't remember if it was for 2024. I think it was for. So they're doing well. I've been a customer since 2017. I also looked that up before. And yeah, they've just continued to expand their offering and be available for every part of your life. They have men's vitamins now too. So huge fan.
So I don't have to be pregnant I can actually have a vitamin for me too.
Yeah, exactly. They have multivitamins and then for every phase of a woman's journey.
Go look at the website, folks, and you'll see why I said it. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. All right. Awesome. Ritual. Bravo. And it's cool that you had worked on the brand before.
Yeah. I worked with them a little bit on their podcast advertising.
Nice. All right. So we're going to do it. I don't know if it's a 180, but like, in fact, I got to be real, bring the real here. So I was all ready to talk about a different brand. And I had like the nightmare where you woke up and you're like, I actually have more conviction or a different brand. And it's not going to be surprising as to why when I say the brand, because the brand it's the Olympics. It's the five rings. And I got to tell you, it's not just because I went to Italy, which was a wild and amazing pinch me experience. I think I actually over indexed on researching it just to make sure that, hey, did I feel this differently when I actually audited their success? You would actually think that the Olympics would shrink because the Olympics, as I knew it, I feel like I've been dating myself all over recently. So why
Because you have a
stop
birthday
now?
coming up next week. It just happens.
Yeah, why stop now? Like it used to be on NBC, one channel, and you would tune in at a time, and now it's like it's fragmented and it's like on Peacock and it's living in all these little compartments and it's on YouTube and it's streaming and it's social and all the. But the Olympics are not shrinking. They decentralized and they grew. It's amazing how they've been able to grow. The Olympics are now a platform and it's what great legacy brands have to do. And so it's been cool to look at the data and look at the numbers. This is not just like, it's a US thing, by the way. Yes, Team USA performed very well. It's nice to finally have like a skosh of national pride right now. The Olympics specifically remain the number 2 global sporting event on earth behind the World Cup, which is coming. Olympics are followed by roughly 40% of sports fans worldwide. But like I said, it's not just a US thing. In Europe alone, Warner Brothers Discovery, who owns the rights, 600 million streaming minutes in one day in Europe alone. I mean, the numbers are wild. The Winter Olympics averaged 23 million US viewers. That's a 96% increase from Beijing 2022. You would think when COVID happened, we had nothing better to do than to watch the Olympics. And that's not what happened. Every day of the 15 days of competition exceeded over 20 million viewers that watched. And again, in this fragmented media world, the fact that we actually watch. So Peacock and NBC, massive victories. I think they logged 16.7 billion minutes streamed. NBC Sports saw over 4 billion social media impressions, which was up 440% from Beijing. So it's the most watched Winter Olympics since 2014. I was just curious to see, I went there, so obviously I'm involved, but do people here care about the Winter Olympics? Would people watch with the, stuff happening 6 hours, 9 hours ahead of you? And the answer overwhelmingly was yes, absolutely. So bravo Olympics. I'm going to throw a prediction out there too. LA, if they can matador the DC realities, it will be the biggest Olympics we've ever seen. This is not arrogance. This is just a prediction. I also am very curious to see how the French basketball team plays because we went to France and the U.S. won there. And I think France has been thinking about coming to the U.S. Wemby and folks are probably looking to take a gold medal home. That's been churning. So I'm very curious to see how that goes. And then the next Winter Olympics is in France. So you're going to have similar, I think it's going to be bigger than this Olympics. So that was my brand. I again, am I jaded, Lisa, that I'm talking about the Olympics, or did I convince you that this is actually a Courage brand and it's alive and well?
I don't think you're jaded. I'm curious what your thought is on what caused that increase. Like what did they do differently that drove more interest and more eyeballs?
Yeah, I think one, like I said, I think at least here, the US, I think, won the most golds that we've won in a real long time. And I mean, if I'm going to be courageous on a podcast called The Courageous Podcast, then I'm going to say stuff like, well, it kind of makes sense that we're exhausted with the local media. I'm kind of exhausted with right? All the messy that's happening over here, DC, ICE. I don't even want to say it, right? Like, oh, I should say it. I ended up in Milan at the Winter House, it is kind of like a friends and family of the athletes. It's not supposed to have any media in there. Lots of those who like the CEO of speed skating. I got a chance to meet the coach of speed skating, and the CEO of ice skating was there as well. Capped at 200 people, 250 people. By the time I got there, it was called the Winter House. It was originally branded the Ice House, and they rebranded. So again, everything you need to know about why we might want to just for a minute have a little time capsule and go back to like rooting for the good parts of these athletes. And I think let's give NBC some credit. They did a great job in just the human interest stories. Like you got to know the athletes. They covered the real stories of these people who are just every 4 years they emerge, and you get to know what life is like for them. And I think we were craving that. I think we needed that. And so a little bit of success, some exceptional storytelling, and also not being like on the other side of the planet in Beijing, nothing personal, right? But in an upside down world where it's just like at 4 a.m. is when the events happened. That wasn't this with this Olympics. So you could be close enough to it in real time to be awake and see what success looked like. I think we were just like, we were ready for that. We needed like a little bit of like, thank you. It's like a little chicken soup for the soul that we needed for America.
Yeah. I mean, I loved all the Olympics content that came out on social. We watched some live, some recorded. I think they did a great job on Peacock making it easy to find what happened earlier that day. So if you heard about, oh my God, did you see the hockey game? Did you see this? You could go back and actually watch it. And I will say both the men's and women's hockey finals were nail biters and just so fun to watch. Like the level of play, both men's and women's. I know the men's are getting a lot more attention, but both of them were incredible final games.
We're not going to have a political conversation about that last comment, but like, let's call it what it is. Like they were both amazing. Unless you're Canadian, and I love you, Canadians, and
they still won silver. Like it's
they're immediately fast forwarding past this part. They're like they probably are already out. Like no Canadian wants a T-shirt that's red that says we still won silver. Like that's the last thing
that's fair
they want. But I will say both games were incredible. It doesn't matter, what team was better at the end of the day. They both games went to overtime. What else could you ask for?
Yeah.
NBC probably won the gold. I mean, let's call it what it is. NBC and Peacock really won the gold medal on that. And then obviously if you've been living under a rock, yes, I was there for Jalen Koff and was treated like family from her family. We were probably 25 to 32 deep every night we went to dinner. Obviously Jalen is not going to be at the dinner. She's got things to do and things to focus on. But, even on our hardest days or the best days, we made the most of Lavinho, which just to be the history lesson, not the history lesson, but like it is just under Switzerland. You have to want to be at that event. It's 4 hours from Milan. It's not like, what do you want to do today? Let me go watch Jalen ski. So everyone who was really up there was almost everyone except for Big Air. I do think people drove for Big Air, but most people were like part of the family or part of the network. It was just a really special 8 days. And I'm so honored to like have been able to have stayed with the family and made all these new friendships. And Jalen didn't need to win. She didn't need to win a medal. I mean, it made it amazing that
still did though.
She did, that she took home 2 silvers, and I'm so proud of her and impressed by her. But the experience as a whole was just wild. Just an awesome one. All right, folks. Great stuff. Lisa, congrats. You got through your first Courage Brand Spotlight. Here's the deal, gang. Like, as you go through the rest of your week, just kind of like take a moment, especially if you've made it this far, you're 15, 20 minutes in. What bold move is waiting for you? Like, is there some place where you should be choosing courage today that maybe there's fear and you have not pulled the trigger on it? Or kind of do what we do, like Take an audit of what's going on out there. Is there a Courage brand out in the wild that is interesting to you? Maybe you work for a Courage brand. Maybe you admire a Courage brand. Shout it out. Let me know. Send me an email, ryanberman@couragebrands.com. We would love to spotlight any Courage brand that is actually going for it. Hey, I'll take your Coward brand too. If there is a brand, okay, that knows what they should be doing, but isn't doing it, which is the definition of a Coward brand. You know it, you're not feeling it, you're not doing it, email it in. Let's take a look at it. We'll talk about it all here on the show. And until next time, stay brave, keep choosing courage, and be good out there. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Courageous Podcast. If you enjoy the show, don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts so more people can find us. See you again next week.